me here, I have Melissa Jakes. I'm very excited to join her on this call. She is a light of joy, as you guys can see, and she's gonna take us on a journey here, explaining a little bit to us how she got into, you know, being into the business that she's into now, event planning. She's a dance mom. There's so many exciting things happening in her life. So, Melissa, welcome. I'm excited to have you here.
Yes, I am super excited to finally be meeting with you. I feel like I know you a bit from following on social media, so I'm super excited to be with another dance mom.
Yes, that's awesome. I love my dance moms. You guys all are very, I would say, go-getters,
Yeah,
hardworking people, creative. So I feel like all the dance moms are doing incredible things, both on social media and outside of social media. So cool to have you here. So talk to us a little bit. So as I was talking previously with you, you used to work as a social worker before you were into the event planning, correct?
correct.
So tell
Absolutely.
us a little bit about that. How did you become a social worker and what did you have to do to go on that route?
Yeah, so I have my bachelor's from Morgan State University in sociology, and I wanted to be a lawyer, but soon realized that the LSATs was a little bit too hard for me. So I started diving into social services, which then I started getting my master's in social work in DC. And
Mhm.
so that was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to be a licensed social worker. I'm going to do programmatic skills. But, a lot of people don't realize that when God gives you a gift, that is the gift that you need to do. So the call of
Yeah.
event planning continued to come coming around. During college, I did event planning for my school. I was SGA president, and so that comes with a lot of planning of different events. And so my colleagues that graduated with me, they were getting married. So I helped them plan their weddings. I helped them do their baby showers. And then that morphed into also the world of social work where nonprofits, they have to have
Mhm.
events too for their galas, their fundraisers, their golf tournaments. And so that's kind of how that event planning side started. And my husband was like, why don't you start the business? Everyone keeps coming to you, asking you to do events. And so I said, okay, I will start. I give myself 1 year and let's see how it goes. And now we're here 9 years later with it being born. And so I
That's
I
amazing.
started doing it, doing free events. Not saying that I need you guys to do free events, but I did that to build my portfolio. So I had to start
Hmm.
somewhere because most people say, "Well, I don't know what type of events have you done," and I had nothing to show. So I needed to build my portfolio. So I did three free events that first year, and then started building the business since then.
I love that because a lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes it's also about you feeling confident when you're talking about your job and your business and what you do. And
Mhm.
some people are very confident from the startup. They can be like, I have never done this before and I can show up and
Yeah.
be, but other people, and I've spoken even this for myself, I feel better if I'm like, let me get my portfolio ready. Like, let me do some of these things here and and even if I'm working for free, right? So
Yeah.
that way you can show people what you have done, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's different directions to go in it, but I love that you went into that direction because it's almost like it had to cost you something
Yeah.
to start this, right? And it cost you your time and your energy, even though you didn't have a reward right away. You knew that it was going to come.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people forget about that because it's different than like, going to your work and getting a job and working and getting paid. Now you're like, no, I'm going to work for free, but it's going to end up paying off, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the building relationships with that too. Doing those free events is not just getting the pictures and the videos from it. It was instant referrals. People see it in
Yeah.
events. They're attending the event. If you enjoy it, you love it. Oh my goodness, who planned this event? Boom, there's instant referrals sitting right in the room. And you're able to network that way. So definitely ways to still build your business without all the capital upfront.
Yes. So did you change from, that beginning to now? Do you do the same type of events? Have you changed along the way? Did you find something different? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we do some of the same events. We do about 2 to 3 weddings a year, but we're more into the corporate. And so we have your nonprofits, your association, which makes sense with my background in social work. So I understand their language when it comes to their sponsorships they're trying to get, their outcomes. Look what they're doing in the community. This is why you should support them at the gala. And then I understand the business side of networking. A lot of these fundraisers and galas of nonprofits, even corporate conferences, it's all about who's in the room and networking with people. And
Yeah.
so we focus a lot on those type of events. But we also help our small business and entrepreneurs when it comes to either in-person or virtual events as well, and building their business through events, because that's how you get visibility.
Yes. So, what do you love most about being in this arena? Because I know you have to be very social, you have to
Yeah.
communicate with everybody, you have to know how to network, you have to serve people. So, I'm sure you have learned a lot through this. What are your favorite aspects of this type of business?
Yeah, so I love seeing the vision from thought process to actuality, and the client is like, wow, like this came all together, and seeing their eyes light up. I also love when I'm able to see clients really enjoying their events. That is
Yeah.
really a good reason why you hire an event planner, because for any of those who've known, you plan either your daughter or your son's birthday party, you're running around trying to get the cupcakes and all of that stuff. You're not really able to enjoy the moment, and so
Not at
seeing
all.
clients enjoying it really gives me joy, because I love serving. That's one of my my love languages is giving and serving.
That's awesome because it's true. Event planning is very stressful. I'm always stressed out. I'm that stressed out mom at event planning. Like if I can, I would totally have somebody do it for me because I'm worried about every single detail. I can't relax. I'm that kind
Yeah.
of person. If I'm hosting something, that's
Mhm.
why like I'm sorry, but I'm always trying to get like get away from hosting. Like if somebody's like, can somebody host this? I'm like, because I get so stressed out. I can't like if I show up to somebody's party, no problem. I'm there. I talk to people, but if I have to host, it can be a lot to
Yeah.
plan an event from beginning to end, make sure everything goes smoothly and people. So I can see how beneficial this is. So that's awesome that that's what you do for families, for people, for
Yeah.
business. I think it's so helpful because it's allowing somebody who knows what they're doing to kind of take the load off you and still make you look good and
Yeah.
still make sure that you have a good time. So that's cool. Um, so tell us a little bit. You told me that you do virtual
Yeah.
planning for parties and events, and tell me what that looks like. What exactly that is that?
Yeah. Well, during COVID, we had to survive. So virtual was it, right? And so that's we picked
Yes.
up a good three platforms. One we're using now. I use this platform a lot to stream out different events. So from conferences to webinars, we even did weddings and baby showers during COVID. That's kind of
Mhm.
tailing off now, but more for visibility for small business owners. If you're afraid to do an event in person because you're like, I don't know if anyone's going to show up, or your clientele might be all around the world and a flight is not going to be possible, you can do like a 1 day conference, a 1 day webinar, seminar, or even a workshop, like a mastermind workshop that's like half a day. And different aspects that we've done is ship like goodie bags, almost like the swag bag. We shipped it to the different attendees so they feel interactive through the event. And so we still do those. We have a conference in October that we're doing with the client, and even next year we still have people who are still doing virtual conferences. It's definitely lucrative. It's not as expensive because you don't have a hotel or a conference center. You got to pay
No.
for the food and beverage, the hotel rooms, all of that stuff. Of course, not, we love our connection in person is definitely still that vibe you get, but you can still build a vibe online.
And people got so used to being online since
Yeah.
COVID that nobody, like before, if you presented this, people would be like, there's no way. We're
Yeah.
comfortable now. Like
Yeah.
if we sign up and there's like 50 people in this online event and we're there and we're commenting
Yep.
and we feel like we're there and it makes it easier for people. So
Yeah.
I can see how business would take advantage of this because it removes all the obstacles
Yep.
and it just makes it where from the comfort of your home you can enjoy this event. So
Yeah.
that's really really cool.
Yeah. We've
um
even done wine tastings too, where we
oh
had,
wow, how does
yeah.
that work?
So that one was, we were a bit local, but we had a delivery driver drop off the different samples. And
That's
we labeled the
awesome.
bottles 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the sommelier sat there and said, "Okay, take out your bottle one, and if you want to pair this, if you have grapes," and we kind of gave like a checklist before, if you want to pair things, bring these things to the tasting with you. So it's
Yeah.
still possible to do a virtual if you don't have it there. You could tell them buy this wine, and that wine, and the sommelier can still go through and say this pairs well with this food and that thing. It was so much fun. We had the music going, and afterwards, people were just drinking and having fun. So yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
super creative. I never thought that that would be possible. See, even like somebody coming and delivering the wine, I feel like it'd be exciting. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, let's bring it
Yes,
out.
right.
Oh, that's so cool. And you can invite more people over too. It's like, let's do this together.
Exactly. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's fun. So that's awesome. So you're also a dance mom.
yes.
So I want to hear, how did you find out about dance? Did your daughter find it? So your daughter is 9 years old. What's her name?
Gabriella.
Gabriella. So tell me how Gabriella found dance, and what was that experience for you and your family?
Yeah. So my husband and I had this whole dream. In 2012, Gabby Douglas was a gymnast in the Olympics. And so we kind of named our daughter after her. We're like, she's going to be a gymnastics person. And she got on that high bar and said, absolutely not.
No.
She loved the floor, the tumbling. And so we tried to start doing ballet. And then that just grew and morphed into, somehow I got into the competition team. When the teachers were like, she's really good, you should have her try out. So I then embraced it and said, oh, there's a whole community of like dance moms. And I watched the show too. And I was like, huh, okay, I think I can kind of do this thing. I can show
The
up for
show kind of
people.
gives it a bad name,
I
right?
know, I know.
Wait,
Yeah.
we're all scared a little bit.
Yeah, no Abby Lee here, but the concept of like how hard they work
Yeah,
and the relationship that you build with your daughter during it is just totally amazing.
yeah.
And you know, it's like an event for me. It's like many events every single time of competitions. Do we have all the outfits together? Do we have
Oh,
all
yeah.
these things? Getting the sequence onto the outfits before competition, and the moms are bonding. So she has got me to be a dance mom, and I'm definitely loving the space, and she loves it. So that's the most joy part too.
Yeah. So she's been competing now for how many years? Is it 2 years?
It's
3?
2 years going on our third. Yep.
Okay. So tell us how the first competition was. I know you brought up there was like a little special moment at her first dance competition that made you, be more aware of, oh, this is
Yeah.
my journey from now on. Tell us
Yes,
about
I
it.
didn't. I One thing was like, what's these rolling bags that everyone have? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I know the first year, it's like you have no idea, which sometimes I tell people it's kind of like a bliss because
Yeah.
you just don't know. So you're like,
Or-
oh, you're going with the flow. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't
Not
have
at
a
all.
backpack, like nothing crazy either my first year. So
Yeah. Yeah, but she did not, as most dance moms know, competition can be all day, depending on when you're dancing to awards time. But this girl did not want to leave. She wanted to support all of her teammates. And just seeing her looking over, we were like on the second level, looking over the balcony at all the different dancers. And she looked back at me. She's like, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this. Like, oh, can I get a solo? Can I get a duo? Can I get a trio? And just seeing that sparkle in her eye, it's like this is her thing. You know, when you see your
yeah.
child find their thing, it's just like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna feed into this because this is what she wants to do.
It's an amazing feeling because I think there's so many kids who have not had the opportunity to even find their thing when they
Yeah,
were younger.
yeah,
And or sometimes you might be see kids doing something that they don't really like. And
yeah,
sometimes, maybe the parents just trying to see what's gonna work for them. And when you find it, you see that sparkle of joy in them, and
yeah,
that's when you realize, at least for me, was the same. It's like, this is worth it. I love it. She
yeah,
actually is enjoying this. And I don't know if it was the same for you, but for my daughter, it was the first year of competition that she really became friends with the
mm,
girls at the studio.
yeah,
Before that, she wasn't friends with anybody. She was going to
yeah,
class and leaving. So you know what I'm saying? There was no time to talk, to
yeah,
build nothing. So I felt like she was really lonely. She would go to the class, come back, but when she joined the competition team,
yeah,
everything changed.
yeah,
Now these girls are hanging out together. They're building, memory stories. There's like
yeah,
sleepovers, parties,
yep,
and all
yes,
this stuff that I was like, wow, she found her people. It was kind of
Yeah.
cool to see her getting super comfortable. So was it the same for you?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially like at school, you have school friends, but we don't have a lot of like really good close friends. And definitely in a dance, that's where that came. It's almost like a second family for us. And so the sleepovers are endless. After class, they're like, hey, can we go over so and so's house? Can we go to the pool together? Can
I
we, like,
know.
you guys were just with each other all
I
day.
know.
Then they're on FaceTime all day, making up dances. And
Yeah, they'll literally go to each other's house and dance and come up with their own
yeah,
routines. I'm
yes.
like, when is it enough? But
Yeah,
never.
like you do it in practice.
Yeah.
She's a tap too, so she'll be tapping to the refrigerator to get a drink and tapping out. It's
Oh.
like, okay. But that's their
This is our life now. This is
right,
it.
right.
Dad, this is it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we just came back from nationals 2 weeks ago. We roomed with another family too. And so like it definitely is a full-on support. Someone's running late, like, hey, can you hold my child for me? That the moms are there, like, we got you. If
Yeah.
I have an event and I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to be coming in between. Can we make sure someone do her hair change? My mom's got me. So it's a
I know.
full-on support family, and it's amazing.
This is awesome. I think it's super cool when you get to find that family, like bond with the moms and know that I feel
Mm,
like it becomes when you have a nice group of people, it becomes where somebody's kid is like everybody's kid. So it's
yeah,
like if a kid needs help, every mom is willing
we're
to jump
doing
in
it.
and help,
Yeah,
whatever it is. Your mom is not around, I'm here, I got you.
yep.
So it's kind of nice and it definitely builds like that family feeling to it. And I think
Yeah,
that's super cool because think about it, we spend so much time together, right?
yes,
Like as moms, as kids, like we're living at the studio. Like
yeah.
how many days a week does your daughter go to the studio?
We are there 5 days, so we only have 2 days and we're not there. And
Yeah.
that's the new schedule has not come out. We don't know what dances we have yet for the new year. So I'm pretty sure that's probably going to go up to six.
Most likely you will. Yes, that's
Yeah,
where it goes to. Everybody ends up going 6 days a week and
yeah,
there's no
yeah,
break. So you might, so sometimes I tell moms if you don't have that kind of environment in the studio that you're in, you may want to look into a different place because it's a very important phase of your child's life is for them to like, get training,
yeah,
advance, build, resilience, but also have fun and but for the mom also to have fun because we're always there. I
yeah.
mean, we're always waiting for classes. So I feel like if that's not the kind of environment, it's gonna wear out on the mom, maybe the dancer. You
Yeah,
agree? Yeah,
absolutely,
not
absolutely.
worth it.
It's not worth it if you definitely are not like I mentioned the show Dance Moms. If you're feeling like you're stressed out, like that's though we're stressed out in different ways. It shouldn't be that type of stress out. So
Yes.
you should definitely make sure you feel supported.
Yeah.
And that's what I love our studio. It's not about who's getting a solo. Oh, are you doing this or what that? Every studio is going to have their little cattiness, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
we definitely feel like the teachers are there for our child. They're like a second mom to our kids too.
Hmm.
We're trusting them to teach them the skills. And if you don't feel that, then you should probably look some other place.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. So moving on a little bit, tell us more. How are you able to balance your life? So I think you have some helpful tips that our moms would want to listen to, and even myself, I want to know,
Yeah.
the tools that you use. How do you balance it all? Because you are an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you're a dance mom, you have a lot on your plate. How do you manage it all? If you do, what are your tips?
Yeah. And I have another kid. Two
Another
kids.
kid. There you go. That's
Yeah.
true. How old
Yes.
is your other kid?
He's four. He's four.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll start doing his own thing eventually soon. But the biggest thing I tell a lot of people, and even just coming in within business, that it can be becoming so overwhelming, is to really just take a breath and map things out. Like I said, I treat everything like an event. So Google Calendar is my thing.
Yeah.
Everything must be on the calendar. Appointments, what husband is doing, what I'm doing, what classes she has, where's everyone's movements, because you're able to plan ahead to say like, okay, you have something, I have something, she has something. We got to figure this out before it's like the day of and you're not realizing it. So definitely do that. Every quarter, my husband and I sit down and try to pre-plan the calendar. So that's definitely helpful. Every Sunday, I try to get him involved, but I do it myself. I just kind of breeze like, okay, what's coming up this week? Got it. Okay. And so when you get ahead of it, it's not going to be as stressful. Now, when it comes to self-care, I'm still learning through that, but
We all are.
yeah, it's always trying to figure out the best thing. But one thing I really try to do is wake up before the kids. If I try to wake up before the kids, at least do a little bit of meditation, whether it's just getting my coffee and I'm not speaking to anyone, I have that moment. And if I can't get in the morning, I'll try to do it on the back end after everyone is in bed and just try to decompress, whether that is my show is like, I love Law and Order SVU. If I need to watch one episode just to be not thinking of anything else, I'm just enjoying the show, then do that. So whatever your thing is, just carve out that time, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or you're like, I'm blocking an hour, put it on the calendar and block it. So I have done that where I'm like, nope, I'm unavailable and I'm blocking it. And as a business owner, once a month, I do an admin day. So I try to do that closer to the end of the month where I take no meetings. It is strictly any admin work so I can actually get through the work we need to do. Yes. And I also work on home stuff too. So what is it with Gabby? And do I need more leotards? What does she say about this? Or what's coming up? So making sure that all of those things are done administratively, because in business, especially event planning, I have to meet with the clients, or even with any type of business, you got to have your team meeting, all these meetings. Next thing you know, your calendar is full of all these meetings, but you're not getting the work done. So you need to make sure you're able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you think that being an entrepreneur, business owner, helps with being a dance mom? Does it help you to being able to manage everything? And if so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. It builds a endurance. So when it comes to competition season, and however long your season is, you're able to figure out what I need to do ahead of time. And sometimes I do bring my laptop to the studio. Okay, if I'm going to be there for a long period of time, I'm pulling up my laptop and being there. One thing I've recently learned that I love doing more on the personal side and being in another stream of income is doing reels about how I'm getting Gabby dressed for school or how I'm getting her dressed for dance. And so I let her record a lot of my reels. She put it on her pad. I said, do the time lapse, have her record it. I said, then airdrop it to me. And then I do my little voiceover over it. And so she's getting involved and seeing like, so I'm going to soon explain to her, now we're going to start monetizing this. What information do you want dancers to know? And then we can then pull that onto social media and help her grow that way too.
I love that because it's the same thing for us. So my husband and I have been, entrepreneurs for a while now. Yeah. And I feel like our daughter, Evelyn, has been exposed to so many valuable moments that make her understand how the world works, how business works. That now she sees us, because now both of us are full-time, in the house working online. She's part of everything. Now she's giving insights. She's saying, she's 11 now, but she's telling me, hey, Mom, I think you should do this. Hey, Mom, I saw this and I thought about you. Hey, Mom, have you thought about doing that? Or can I help you with doing this? And it's so awesome to see, because those are skills that, kids are normally not being able to take on if they don't have, a mom or a dad who are going through all of this. Like even sales, my husband used to take my daughter on the sales deals. And that's a funny story, because he's like, I'm taking her because she helps me close deals. This girl is awesome. So he would take her. Yeah. And she would go, because we were in the service-based business. So he would go to homeowners' house and business house, and everybody would love her. She would be like super polite and talking to her. And then my husband's like, I'm teaching her sales skills that she doesn't even, understand now, but she's getting it. At the same time, she's observing. She knows, okay, Dad is here to do business. This is how he does business. This is how you talk to people that you're trying to do business with or serve. And it's amazing. I'm like, I like it. And both my husband, enjoyed that part a lot. For her, it's going to be very beneficial in the future. Absolutely. And then also her now, we have, social media for her. She's helping us with social media. She's building her brand. And then I think there's nothing wrong with thinking about that, because I always tell Brian, everyone is online. There's nothing wrong with business, brands, people jumping online and learning that there is a future into putting your presence online,
Yeah,
learning those skills that are beneficial to you, your business, your kids, whatever it is that you want to do. You got to learn how to, monetize, make money
correct.
online, build a business online, a brand, right?
Yep,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes beyond just this, and like your daughter's picking up, she'll figure out what she wants to do. I know my daughter's drop hints that she may want to own her own studio one day. And that's even big. Like she's like, oh, I want to dance and teach the kids. And then we go to competition. I was like, okay. So you now we're going to show you what that looks like and what does that mean so you can understand it. And so like those sales call in almost any business, you're going to need to understand sales. And
mhm.
so your daughter is learning and has learned a lot of valuable things. And so teaching Gabby about the different ways to bring in income, even down to stocks, and saying like, hey, do you like Kate Spade? Great. This is how much a share is. Should we get a small share or should we get a big share? And let's just sit there and grow. We put, get one share and talk about it and see how it grows. And then so like, okay, well now you can pull some out and that can go towards maybe a new leotard or maybe put some
Yeah.
away and get nothing, something else. So just showing all the different ways to make money, that it's not difficult and it's not hard, and that you can have the life that you really want.
Yes, I love that. I think it's so important today, and I think you're doing a good job into not only doing this for yourself and your family, but introducing your kids to it. I always think that is more valuable than, you know, to be honest, most of the time when they're learning at school. I love
Yeah,
education. I love all of that, but I would love to provide my kid with skills that once she's off school and she's off that season, that she probably already has a business on her own. There's nothing wrong with that. I
nothing. I
always
mean,
tell her there's nothing wrong with being 18, 19 and having your own business and running it and being, successful at it. So I think it starts with us,
yeah,
obviously, because we are as the parents, we have more understanding on things and we can guide them there. And then I think what you're doing is inspirational because you have your business and you understand how that portion of your business works. And you've been 9 years in your business, you said?
9 years. Yeah,
And most people quit in what, 3 years, right? That's
three.
the
Yeah,
average.
3 to 5. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think the fact that you're in the same business, it shows a lot of resilience, and it can be very inspiring to people, which makes me think about this. So let's say somebody is listening to us right now and is a woman who maybe she has a business but she's not thriving in her business, or maybe she's a little bit stressed out, overwhelmed, because we know that this is all part of the process.
yes.
What would you tell this parent, this person listening, that could help them on this journey to keep going and to get to a better place?
Yeah. Listen, the freak outs are gonna happen. I had one 2 days ago, and I looked at her husband. I was like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Listen, you got it." I say, "Take your day. You're gonna have your freak out moments. Take your day, but the next day you can't freak out. You can't continue it because that's when psychologically you're never gonna move forward. If you're always thinking negative, then the negative is gonna happen." So I have 3 words that I tell people: fear, worry, and doubt. Can you see fear? No. Can you see worry? Maybe on your face a bit, but doubt, you can't see those things. So why are you worrying about it? They're invisible. And so the FWD also, for those who are a bit older and wiser, know that on the VCR, that's how you fast forward. Or on your cassette tape, you fast forward. And so why don't you push through that fear, that worry, and that doubt? Because the next thing is going to be there. After you realize I can't see these things, they can't kill me, they can't hurt me. I'm the one that has to be able to push through it. Then I can get to the next step. Then everything is going to work out. You're going to have your ups and downs in business. That is reality.
Yes.
But if you know that, okay, this is just a little moment, I'm looking at the big picture in the sky or the top of the mountain in the sky, then I need to start climbing and get my oxygen mask and get my water, and let's continue climbing up.
I love this because if your expectations are set up to understanding that you're going on this journey and there's going to be many ups and downs, but it is worth it at the end if you stick through it, and you're going to become a better human being. You're going to
Yeah,
develop all these skills you didn't have, all this leadership inside of you that you did not have before. So all of this is getting developed, and it is through the ups and downs, and actually is actually more through the downs than the ups
Yeah.
that
Yes.
person is formed. Is
Yes.
through, like, my husband and I, we've been through so many moments where we both were like, this is it, like there's no way,
Yeah.
like I want to quit. Like, he has come to me, I'm quitting, I am done. I've gone to him like, I am done. And we've had our moments. Next day, guess what? We keep going. We
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
We're like, we're not going to quit. No, no, no.
Yeah.
We keep going.
Yeah.
So allowing those frustration, I think what you said is right, because I do the same too. I have to let it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
today, man. And then I might go on a run. Sometimes I do that. I really do. I'm like, I need to run. And especially like run, I love exercising. I do other things too. But sometimes when I'm in that mood, when I go on a run and I come out of that run, I can't even explain. Like, all those thoughts are gone.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's almost like you need a detox. And it's
Mm.
your body needing that
Yeah.
detox, and
Yeah.
sweat comes out and the cardio is going, and it's all like, and I'm telling you, when I'm on those days, sometimes I go on a run and the first like 10 minutes, I'm like yelling at myself. I'm cussing
Yeah.
at myself. I'm like, you this, in my mind. I'm like, can't believe, and then by the end of that run, I'm peace, quiet. I got ideas. It's
Yes.
almost like God spoke to me, gave
Yeah.
me, hey, you need to do this and that. I got clarity. So
Yeah.
sometimes we're just very fogged up because
Yeah.
of our busy lives, the stress, the overthinking, like you said, getting in our mind. So whatever activity you need to do in that day that will get you out of the place, working out, go to a sauna, hang out with some friends, like get a break. Like, I'm gonna see my girlfriend, we're gonna laugh and talk, do that, and then come back to it the next day, and
Yeah.
you're gonna make it, right?
It always will work out. It is every time I wanted to quit too, I've gone through those moments, a contract comes in the next day. And it's like, okay, God, I understand. So definitely make sure that you push through. It's just like our dancers, we tell them to persevere, right? They get
Yeah.
frustrated, they might have messed up at comp. And they're like, oh my gosh. I was like, but the judges don't know your routine. You have to push
Yeah.
through. You smile through it. No one knows the routine but your teachers and your dance mates. So as long as it looked great and you didn't put that big eyes of like, oh no, I messed up, then you're gonna keep going and it's gonna get better on the other side. So just the same things we tell our girls in dance and persevering through is the same thing in business. You're gonna make it to the other side.
Yes, I love it. So, and looking back at you being a social worker and
Mhm.
doing what, at that time you thought you would love doing, and looking at your life now, are you happy with that choice that you made, and why?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, am I crazy? But no, I am happy. The biggest reason is family. Climbing up the corporate ladder is great and getting all these, program manager, VP of this, that's great. But to me, what's most important is that I'm able to be there for my daughter because we only get a short period of time to be in their lives before they're off to college and doing their own thing. And these moments of fostering their relationship with their mother and understanding everything and having that bond, you can never get those back. You can't get those years back. And so it was important that I could be present. If I wanted to take a school trip with my daughter, I didn't need to ask for time off. I'm flexing my schedule. And especially now that I have two kids, I want to be there. If he's going to be in soccer or basketball or gymnastics, whatever it is, I want to be able to be present. And the business allows me to do that. So I wouldn't change in the
Yeah.
world.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I look back now. Sometimes when you're in the midst of some difficulties, you can forget,
Yeah.
what you've gone through. But I was talking to my husband, we were, because right now, our daughter is going to private school for the first time. She is, she's going to go into seventh grade. We were
Mm,
homeschooling before. And the
mm,
whole reason why I was even able to homeschool is because of building businesses and hustling and getting outside of, getting jobs. So
yeah.
whatever it is that my husband and I were doing, because we went through a season where we were just hustling. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. But we would take our daughter with us. We would, take turns. My husband would go do something. I'm with her. And then it became where we build a business. I would take her with me if I needed to. He would take her with her if she needed to. It made it where our life could be so flexible. We could do, for example, we could do schoolwork at any time in the morning, afternoon, night. It didn't matter. But the only reason why I could do this, it was because of our business. And looking back, I'm like, that was awesome. That was privileged. Like there were some days that were hard, but looking back, the amount of time that I have spent with our daughter and my husband has spent with her, like she would love the days where he would take her to work. He's like, you know what, today, sometimes he would feel like, I think you need a little break. And I'm like, yes, I do. He would take her to work. They would do all kinds of stuff. She would be in the office with him in the shop. She always talks about, then they would stop at, the Wygos and get all these bagels and things like that for her, especially as a working dad. Those moments meant everything to her and to him. Instead of just like working all day and barely seeing your kids. So I'm really grateful to that because again, you cannot get those moments back. And being able to even enjoy, I think, the dance competition, being able to go on these events, weekends, and having the flexibility to do that because not everyone can. Sometimes you see you have to send in your aunt or a grandma or a grandpa because parents, it's hard. It takes a lot of commitment. So it's really cool to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then I guess one last thing I wanted to touch on is that you said you're thinking about developing a side of your business, maybe that would go to dance studios and planning events for them.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is your vision for that, which I think is phenomenal and much
Yes.
needed. Let me tell
Yes.
you, much, much needed. And it would be so awesome to have those events done by somebody that actually understands the industry, but is also a dance mom.
Yeah.
So what do you have in mind for that?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. One is competitions are expensive, right? So most moms are on the fundraising committee and they're doing the little cookies, the dinner nights, and those are great. They just don't yield as much. So hosting like fundraiser nights at the studio, or whether it is for the recitals, what I did with my studio this past month is we did a program book, a really nice printed program book, and we got personal ads in and we got business ads in. And so this was just a little beta tester to see how much money can be raised for the competition team to help offset expenses, and also just help the studio overall. And so that was, though not a physical event, it was an event of let's build a committee, let's go out and get some ads out from business owners. And it also brings visibility to the studio. Oh, I didn't know that was there. All of those moms are either going to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks before practice. Okay. Some of the students themselves are going there. A lot of us have our Stanleys. And so you think about that, the Targets, the Walmarts, you think about the dentists. We have families. Dentists want us. We are their people. And so if you do like an annual sponsorship where you get into our recital program, and for like my studio, we do Nutcracker. So most studios do some type of winter program. Then now you have an annual sponsorship where you're highlighted not only during the parent meeting for competition team, but the Nutcracker in the winter, and then again the recital. So you have 3 visibility options. And then let's throw them on social media too. So thinking through all of those and maybe doing like a sponsorship thank you gala or fundraiser thing of like a small miniature program for the competition team to do. And we invite the sponsors who have put into the book as a thank you, but then also bringing more awareness of like, what other opportunities do you have? And so those are things that I'm starting to pitch different studios of how to bring visibility so you're now seen, and also how you can raise money for your competition team, where the moms will definitely be grateful that, hey, I'll be on that committee. I can make 5 calls to get 5 businesses to put an ad in the book.
Yes. I love that because I feel like it blesses everybody in the community. You're blessing, you're helping business owners, you're helping the studio, you're helping the moms, and everyone is kind of getting connected in the community, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting visibility into what they're doing. And you feel like, especially for the moms, it would be definitely a way to kind of take the stress off them, and being able to do this as a group. So if you have a group together and the moms are kind of helping each other, for those who, would want to get involved, that'll be awesome. I can see that.
Absolutely. So super excited to start launching that out soon.
Yes, awesome. So tell us how how can people find you online? Tell us where your social media pages, how can we get in touch with you for anybody looking for their event? And I know you do a lot of online training as well, don't you?
Yes,
So,
yes. So we
because
do help
you're in
small.
Washington, right?
Yep, yep. We're in the Washington D.C. area, so we definitely do online training, and we've done, like we said, online events or even just consultant help of maybe your event is in Miami, but you just need someone to help get all the vendors there and do a timeline, like a run a show, and we can definitely develop that for you, and then your team on site can make sure it's executed. So we also have done that work, but you can connect with us on social media at the Melissa Jakes. That's MELISSA JAKES. And our business page was just at rescue_events, and connect with us there. Follow us, DM us. We always tell people, ask us questions. It is me managing the account, so no worries. There's no bots answering you back. And we'll love to stay connected, especially for my dance mom. I love to see other dance moms, the competitions that you guys go to, because we might run into each other. You never know.
Yes, I
Yeah.
hope so. That's
Yeah.
what is so exciting about this. The more that I connect with these women, I feel like we're going to run into
Yeah.
each other, and it'll be fun. I
Yeah.
love that. And yes, this has been such a pleasure, Melissa. You're awesome. I love everything you're doing
Yeah.
with your daughter, your family, your business. You are. I know a lot of women are gonna get inspired by this, by your joy, your resilience, and your ability to just keep going and also investing in your kid. I think this is
Yeah.
so precious, and I can't wait. I hope we do get to meet in person soon
Yes.
with an opportunity. And yes, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.